this week, my roommate and I had some challenges. So I made some rice. I was going to make some rice, and I noticed there was something moving in my rice. And so I plucked it out, and I was like, what is this thing? So I threw out all the rice, and then I went to the cupboard, and I had just gotten a brand new bag of rice from the school. The school gave me a brand new bag of rice. Never opened. My other one was. I picked that up to make rice again, and I noticed there's more stuff moving in this one. So I tossed that out, and I told my roommate, Joseph, and Joseph was like, what? And so me and him, well, mostly him, I looked up what it was while he cleaned, and we had weevils. We had weevils in our... I've never heard of weevils before, really. Our weevils were in our food in our pantry. We had a lot of them, apparently. So we cleaned them all up and ripped up bay leaves and put them in the cupboard. And in clearing out the whole cupboard and reorganizing all of it, I found my bag of raisins that I ordered back in March that I had never eaten. And my good friend Abby, my co-host, because I am small and she is
tall,
has been eyeing my bag of raisins in my room all night. Do you want them?
Raisins are, they're not really they don't really hold their own, you know? I prefer them in a baked good.
In a baked good, so like oatmeal, raisin, cookies, right? Abby, when are we going to make some oatmeal raisin cookies?
I feel like that's something that we would have done already. Why are we wasting all this time? We have to make the cookies. I was actually looking at an oatmeal raisin recipe yesterday. Literally yesterday. And I looked at it and I thought, that's way too much work. I'm not doing that.
Why is it too much work, Abby?
Just like the ingredient list was like too overwhelming.
It's oatmeals and raisins.
No, but like it was like 2 different kinds of sugar and like butter and flour, probably oats. It's just like there's only so much that recipes can expect of me, and the bar is very low. And so I just got overwhelmed, and then I closed the tab.
Abby, are most things in your life at a low bar?
No.
Just cooking?
I don't really know.
You open up these can of worms.
I don't know what you mean by low bar.
You said you can only expect so much out of you.
Yeah.
Is that in most regards of life? It seems like you're an overachiever, so that's an odd statement to me.
Thank you.
Why is baking such a low bar for you?
Erg? I think it's the ingredients.
Whoa. Have you ever seen the Powerpuff Girls?
No. I mean, yeah, I know what they look like.
Do you know how they're made? Sugar and spice and everything nice?
I guess.
What are you made of? What are your ingredients?
Oh, I feel like that's like an astrology meme where it's like Aries made of firecrackers and potions. I think I'm made of like shells and...
Like medium-sized shells?
Yeah. That's why we're here. Shells and like a meadow and I guess firecrackers. I like that. I just pulled that one out. What are you made out of?
What am I made of? I would say broken glass and butterflies.
Shut up. Like the song?
That's a song? Don't jerk your head at me. That's a song?
Listen to Williams.
I don't have those lyrics memorized. I was talking to my roommate about this today. I don't really memorize lyrics, really. It's a very challenging thing for me to memorize them. But if the song plays, I can do the whole verse. But I can't just recite it.
I feel like not a lot of people have that ability. But I was just talking about the Lucinda Williams song Broken Butterflies.
I know Fruits of My Labor more.
It's pretty
Abby, the other day you had to listen to that song on repeat. Can you walk me through those emotions? I did. Yeah, before some meeting, right?
Yeah, probably. That sounds like something I would do. The other day I was not sober, question mark, and
You're a good Christian woman. You're always sober.
I'm a really good Christian woman, so that statement is totally subjective. Yeah. But I fell asleep to Stephen Leftover's new album. And I woke up to him singing Cold-Blooded Old Times at 2 a.m. And I was like, whoa.
Abby, from the new Stephen Leftovers album, are there any lyrics that really hit home or stuck with you, that linger in the air, that you found in your refrigerator?
Yeah, the closing track is called How I Love You. And he says, how I love you, densely so. And he says, you're my favorite something something. I don't really know the words. But I thought that using the term densely was really interesting. And I enjoyed that. And I was going to play it on Romance Etc. this week. Stephen Leftovers?
Yeah.
I wish. It's only a matter of time. But I decided to play Places instead, which is my favorite one on the album.
Abby, you were on a walk recently today, and usually spirits talk to you, but today you read some spirits. Can you elaborate more on that?
Today was pretty intensely spiritual. I encountered, I think, like 5 different signs, all in the span of like 2 hours. It was pretty intense.
What were those
But, well, this happened twice this morning. I don't really see blue jays a lot, like ever. But when I do, like, I'm either feeling something or like thinking about angels or something. So I know it's a sign. But today I was around the goats and kind of in that vicinity. And in the corner of my eye, I saw like a bird. And I knew it wasn't a finch, and it wasn't a pigeon, and it wasn't a crow.
Or a swallow.
Or a swallow. And I knew it was a blue jay. But it was like nuanced to an extent where I couldn't be like, it wasn't obvious, you know? So I had to trust that it was a blue jay. And the faith that I had served a higher purpose than just identifying a bird in a tree.
Nice, Abby. Abby, can you tell me about your life in nature? Because I saw recently that you went to a canal, and I was wondering how your time was in the canal.
Do you mean a creek? I don't remember being in a canal.
Canal, creek.
I was in a creek last night with my friends.
Anything interesting?
That was fun. Not really. We just kind of stood and tried not to get our feet wet. But
You can't walk on water yet?
not yet. Not there yet. But I think it's funny the people that you see hanging around the dried up creek of Peace Park. There's always someone in there. And it's usually a pretty interesting character. Like, the last woman I saw in the dried up creek was this chick, and she had like straight across bangs, but she dyed them red. And like the rest of her hair was like brunette. And I was like, of course, you're in the creek right now.
What would her sign be?
I don't know. You could take that many ways. Many different signs could have red bangs for some reason. So yeah.
I found myself yesterday guessing the signs of my favorite characters in the show I watch. Have you ever seen the Trailer Park Boys?
No.
Well, in the show, there's three main characters. There's Bubbles, there is Julian, and there's Ricky. And I always see myself as more of Ricky than any of the other ones. And so as I'm watching the show, I'm curious. I'm like, Bubbles for sure has to be a Pisces or a Cancer. And sure enough, I looked it up, and someone's like, yep, he's a Cancer. Julian's a Gemini. I was like, that's easy to guess. But Ricky's an Aries, and I was like, that's why. Ricky's the crazy one that always flies off the handles. And for Halloween, as it's coming up, I have dressed up as Ricky several times because he's one of my favorite characters. Just to be, it's fun to play an Aries. What are you gonna be for Halloween?
I'm thinking like Joan of Arc. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you could change your name, what would you change it to? And you can't say Ricky because I feel like that would fit you really well. But think of something else.
Am I still a boy?
That's up to you.
That's up to me?
I can assume your gender.
Okay, fair enough. If I had to pick a name, I was always fond of the name Reginald. I always liked the name Reginald. I really like the name Genghis as well, or Beowulf. I've always told my friends that if I ever had a son, I'd name him Beowulf, Genghis Paul Novalis. And so I guess if I had to pick a name, I'd probably go as Genghis. What would you pick?
I call Julia's mom Genghis. Her name's Carol, but she has Genghis Khan energy.
Nice.
So that's interesting that you say that. I would change my name to Luna. Or
Lucinda?
no, just Luna. Or like Magdalene. Yeah. Teddy.
You go as Teddy?
Yeah. But I think
You go as Theodore?
no. My first child, it's either going to be Theodore or Theodora. But I don't know about the whole child thing. So.
I have thought about what I'll name my children. So, sadly, or I shouldn't say sadly, my friend Michael and I have made a pact. And we will name our first sons after one another. And so, when I have a son, he will be named Michelangelo Jr., even though I am not the junior, or the senior. And then when he has a son, he will name his first son Renoir. Why would we do that? I don't know, just something quirky that we thought of in high school.
Renoir is like a dope name. Like, that's pretty cool. But, so like, I would agree to that. But if I had to name my kid Michael... Angelo, like, that's tacky. Period. And so I feel like you could do better, and I feel like your children deserve better.
The next idea was, as I told you, Beowulf, Genghis Paul Novalis. The third son would be Daniel, after my late father. If I had a fourth son, oh man. I'm not going to have probably any kids. That's something that I've thought long and hard about this week. I guess where I see myself in like 15, 20 years. I'll probably be some drunkard in some small log cabin in Wyoming. That's where I figured I'll end up. Yeah, I'll end up there with tons and tons of legal pads filled with just notes. And on top, there'll be a special note saying this is the this is the story of a failed poet, something like that.
Why would you count on failure like that?
Well, it's more of the like I never got my poems out there. Not that I'm not a good poet. That the public never got to experience them.
So do you have like this recurring fantasy that when you die, all of your written works will be published into the world post-mortem? And then people read this stuff and they're like, wow, I can't believe we let that one get away.
Of course, just like the artist I model myself after, Renoir, he's more famous in his post-mortem than his, I guess, being living. If you look at these two paintings right here, you have Renoir on the right and Monet on the left. They were best friends in France, and they would paint the same things. So, like if you were the subject, right, Monet would paint you from center weight, and then I paint you from behind. And he would get all the credit and all the acclaim, and no one would ever care about Renoir's paintings, really.
That's sad.
That's just how it went. It do what it be.
Okay. Next question. So you die, right? You're dead. What's the first thing you hope they find?
So I'm dead. What's the first thing I hope they find? Oh, man. I hope they don't find anything. Yeah, I hope it's all buried. Oh, you know what? I hope they find the map. If knowing me, I'd probably create a map, and in the map, there'd be like some buried treasure. Yeah. And there'd be all these clues that I set up, and they'd have to hope they find the map. I feel like my whole life's a conundrum. Do you feel like your life's a conundrum?
Yeah. I feel like it's inevitable. You have to work through ways of dissonance and stuff. But it's like what you're being dissonant about. And that's how you really find out your priorities and like your true compass, I think. Yeah. But I think you're smart. And I think that your spirit has an effect on people. And they can choose to either be receptive to that, or they can just be closed off and make the decision not to go there. But the smarter people, they're better for it if they go there. So, yeah.
No, continue.
You should be a people person.
Why?
Because the world needs your spirit. And the world needs that. Like, deeply. And it would be a disservice if you were to, like, hold back in any way.
As you say, Abby, you say I'm too nice, right?
I have one more thing to say.
Okay, continue.
In a world full of people, it only takes one to make a difference. And you're the difference. That's what I'm trying to say.
The difference in what?
The world.
But what if I don't want to be?
Then that's your prerogative. And the world's going to miss out because you're being selfish.
You say I'm too nice.
Definitely. 100%. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Then why can't I be selfish?
It's absurd. What do you mean?
Well, see, I'm too nice, and I feel people take advantage of me.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, I, being tired of taking advantage of, because of that, I feel I'm more and more withdrawn. And I could care less about giving people my spirit, as you say. Because why should I if they're just going to abuse it?
Okay. So here's what you're saying. You're withdrawing, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's not like you're selectively withdrawing. You're choosing to withdraw from the energy vampires and the people who have taken from you and not reciprocated, right? But you're not withdrawing from everyone.
No, from
Are you withdrawing from your mother?
More than likely, sometime I will.
Oh my god.
Why do you think I see myself ending up in Wyoming, in a log cabin by myself?
Isolated?
Isolated.
Because you're done with the world? Well, I think that's the pessimistic way of looking at the world. And I truly hope that there are enough redeeming qualities waiting for you in your path that, like, it leads you to believe that there are some things that are just worth it. And
what is that for you?
The sacrifice of giving everything up to isolate yourself in Wyoming would be too great to actually do that, because then you'd be missing out on the little nuggets that you've collected on your path.
What nuggets have you collected on your path?
My cat. Signs, hands, waves. Yeah. But it's worth it.
I don't know, Abby. That's something that I've been toying with all week. Yes. I remember... you know what? It's kind of funny. Every fall this happens. Every fall. I fall into isolation, thinking about it. Yeah, I guess it's Libra season. And so, 2 falls ago, I committed myself. I told myself, Reno, we are the ones that always reach out to people. I am the driver. I am curious what would happen if I turned the car off. Will I continue on this path, or what would happen, right? So I did not message anyone in my life for most of fall. Obviously, I talked to my mom and like some other people, but pretty much I stopped talking to everyone. And sadly, I found out no one talks to me. And so that was a big wake up to me that, do these people, because like I've been taught the adage that, if they care, they'll make time. But if they don't make any time, they don't really care at all. And so I went through a lot mentally and physically, I guess I should say spiritually, during that fall, of thinking, are these my friends? These are the people I actually talk to. They don't care to talk to me. So in spring, I started messaging people, but I kept that in the back of my mind, which is that these people don't really care about me. And so that's one reason why, I guess, recently I have been messaging people who do message me first, or who do make a concerted effort, and I tell them thank you for, caring about me and taking time to talk to me. And that's something that I have reiterated to you several times, because you're one of the few people who will, as you say, probe me. And you'll ask me about my day, though it's something so small and minute, that does mean a lot. Because it is tiring being the only person talking. I remember I guess I get this from my dad. So I feel like I'm reliving my dad's life sometimes. My dad, as soon as he got home from work, so my dad's a produce broker. So what he does all day is he's on the phone selling to people. So he talks and sells to people. My dad was also in charge of a club, and he did a lot of things. He was a leader of a lot of things. And as soon as he got home from work, he would be on the phone for like 2 or 3 hours just talking to people. And my dad would talk about how he has no friends and no one really cares about him aside from me and my mom. And my mom would be like, but Dan, you talk to all these people all the time. He goes, yeah, I know. I talk to these people. They don't talk to me. I'm the one who reaches out to them. I'm the one who sets up plans. I'm the one who does all the work. If I don't do it, no one will do it. And that's one thing I think about often. Do you feel like you're reliving anyone's life?
No. I don't have anyone I could relate to that closely. But I think, like, when you are making a concerted effort to like make connection with people, like it's okay, you're making the conscious decision. You're like, is this interaction going to serve me, and am I actually interested in this person's energy right now? And if the answer to that is yes, then it's worth it. Then you making the effort there is worth it. And if you are straight up enough with these people and it's obvious that they're not interested in interacting with you, then like that's it. Then you shouldn't care more. But yeah. You know? Yeah.
So the end of the year is coming up. We're in October. I always start to go through the cycle of who do I leave in this year? Who do I bring into next year? And so last year I had this thought, and some of the people that I messaged around September, I kind of told them, I was like, I'm leaving you in this year, so enjoy the moments we had this year, but that's about it. Free ride's over. And I think about that moment a lot, because it hurts me to have said that, because I'm sure I could have worked it out, or whatever. But honestly, as you have said, it wasn't worth it.
Period. Thanks for listening to Mediumz.
Wait, what are roses and thorns at?
Okay, roses.
We'll just do roses.
One really good thing that happened this week. Oh, I know.
What?
I think my nice little moment was I tried dirty chai for the first time.
What's that?
It's like chai tea with espresso in it. And I was sitting at Mozart's with my friend Paloma, and that's her like go-to. And she was like, "Here, try it." And we were sitting by the water and by the dam, and it was like the highlight of my week. Yep. What was the highlight of your week? What brought you most joy?
You.
Oh. Thank you.
I got shouted out on a very famous radio show recently that very rarely gives any shout outs. So I was very excited to have that moment. I know you don't give shout outs. So that was one of the highlights of my week. And I'd say I got to make my boss very happy. She's pregnant and she is dealing with all the kids at the store. So she's bringing a child in this world and she has to deal with all the kids at the work. And it was her 1-year anniversary as being a store manager. And me and her have been having a lot of tiffs over money, like always. And so we had a good long talk, a good discussion. We're on the same page. And I went to HEB and I got her an apple pie. She loves apple pie. And I told the lady I need some writing on it. And they're like, "What do you want?" I said, "Happy 1-year anniversary." And they're like, "Okay." And so they wrote that, and I went to the drive-thru, and I told my boss what I wanted. I got a grilled cheese with cold cheese, with extra pickles. And so I got a cup of ice and a cup of water as well. I just wanted to be a little facetious when in the drive-thru, because I thought it'd be funnier for effect. As I pulled up, she looked at me. She was like, "Hi, Reno." I was like, "Hi, Sarah." And then I gave her her pie with her writing on it. And she was like, "Oh," she was so excited.
That's really sweet. Classic example of doing something that people may or may not deserve.
It's just baked bread.
Tea.
It's just banana bread.
Thanks for tuning into Mediumz, guys. I hope you enjoyed this sentimental and thought-provoking talk. If you're really interested in hearing more of this voice, tune into Romance Etc. happening right now. Thank you.